Big Country Politics on KTAB continues.
All right, welcome back to Big Country Politics. We're continuing our conversation with Dr. Paul Fabrizio of McMurray University, a political science professor. And before we get to the local races, I want to talk to you about your class over at McMurray University, political science class. And I want to ask you, after a day like Super Tuesday, what kind of questions do your students come in asking? Because we talked about on Super Tuesday on our Facebook Live together that we did about that young vote that never really materializes. But I guess it's encouraging to hear that your class comes in with a lot of questions after a day like Super Tuesday.
Yeah. First of all, they all are supposed to be aware of what's going on.
Yes, they should. And,
you know, hopefully many of them voted, sometimes not as many as I would like, but that's beside the point. What we focused on, the questions were about the delegates and how do delegates get awarded, what is that process like. We went through each of the states and who won, what that means. And then the bigger thing, especially in my upper level class, I have a class on the presidency this semester, we talked about the strategy of the candidates going forward. And at that time, Elizabeth Warren was still in the race. Mike Bloomberg had just dropped out. What does that mean? How do Bernie Sanders, how does Joe Biden, how do they coalesce around their support and try to get to the nomination? So where are they today? How do they get to the convention? And so, you know, I have the kids, I shouldn't call them kids, I apologize. I have the students act sometimes as if they're the candidates. So if you're Elizabeth Warren, what do you do? How, do you stay in the race or do you go? And the conclusion of our class on Wednesday was that Elizabeth Warren had to get out of the race. Really? There was no reason for her to stay in the race except ego. And if she wanted to preserve her place in the Democratic Party, she had to drop out as soon as possible. And lo and behold, on Thursday, she dropped out.
Very interesting. Yeah. You mentioned the delegates, and then we got an education from you on Super Tuesday on our Facebook Live on how delegates work and that 15% threshold. So if you don't know about that, I'd encourage you to go back to that Facebook Live because you gave a great explanation on that. We don't have time to get into it here, but if you want to know about delegates, how they're earned, how they're given away, and that 15% threshold, you need to go back to our Facebook Live. Thanks for doing that,
sure.
By the way. I want to talk about because we only have a few minutes left, talk about the local races.
Yes.
I guess the voters have spoken, but I really want to get to that Callahan County race because Jowers won the nomination for Republican, for the GOP side in becoming the sheriff. However, he has said he was not going to accept that nomination. However, as of this time, he has not accepted it. And so they're kind of in limbo over in Callahan County now.
Okay. The Republican Party has rules. Okay? And these rules aren't used much, but they can use those rules to encourage a candidate to step away and, if necessary, even pull a candidate. But that would be really strange and it would be a nasty, nasty fight. The Republican Party here at the local level, Callahan County, should step in and tell him it's time to withdraw from the race. Nothing is required of him other than his own commitment. But the Republican Party does not want to run with this person. And it's simply that stolen valor raises all sorts of questions. If he were to become sheriff, it would raise questions about his truthfulness. So if you're arrested by him, you can say, well, he doesn't tell the truth. And as proof of that, look what he did about his own resume. He lied about his own resume. So it creates problems for him. It would limit his effectiveness as a law enforcement officer. So the party has to do its duty. They should have done it before the election. They have to do it after. and encourage him to go, do everything in their power to get him gone. So he is not on the ballot. That allows for write-in candidates. It allows, there's a mechanism for the party to replace someone in this kind of circumstance. And, you know, parties have these things because sometimes candidates do really stupid things after they're nominated, and sometimes candidates die. And so you've got to have a mechanism to fill up a vacancy on the ballot.
And as we sit here today, Jowers has not accepted the nomination. So, in limbo over in Callahan County.
Yeah, I mean, we often dismiss parties as not being important. Political parties actually have a real role in making sure that the candidates are qualified for the job. And you try to do it before, you know, simple background checks. But if you fail to do it before the primary, after the primary, you got to step in.
And look what we've done. We only have 1 minute left.
Oh, we haven't even talked about all the incumbents who won.
Exactly. So let's talk about that. All the incumbents who won.
Yeah, that's the story. What's the big thing going on in Taylor County? And it's hard to think of something that's going to cause people to kick out an incumbent. There isn't any big scandals right now. You know, it's like things are okay. The attention is all focused on other areas of the country. And without a scandal or without some big issue, a bad vote, incumbents usually win. And that's what we saw here in Taylor County.
I guess this should be pretty comfortable for the other incumbents coming up in the next races, coming up in May, coming up in November.
It's good to be an incumbent. It really is good to be an incumbent, as long as you haven't caused a scandal and ticked off everybody with a stupid vote.
And we're going to wrap up real quick. Mention your radio show.
KWKC 1340, The Professors, 4 to 5 p.m. daily.
All right, Dr. Paul Fabrizio, thank you very much for being here. We'll be back on Big Country Politics.